Alright, for this assignment, this is going to be a charcoal still life uh, with light and shadow. And the big thing is just getting some contrast between light and dark out of the drawing and using the charcoal to get the different tones. So we're going to tone the paper gray first. I'm going to have everyone tone the paper an even gray. It doesn't have to be perfectly even, but you can use a paper towel or a rag to wipe the charcoal into the paper and get it somewhat even. And then once you have that gray tone, you can draw on top of that and it will show up, but you can also erase into that gray tone. So you can get the darks on top and pull out the lights from the gray. And once you have the gray tone in some sort of rectangle, or you can go to the edge of the paper if you want, I would get rough outlines of your objects that you have set up. And you can even do better than my example if you set a light up on your objects, and then you may have some interesting shadows to play with that are behind the objects. I did not set up a light, so I didn't find any interesting shapes of the shadows, but you could. And so I'm going to do rough outlines of the objects. You can pretty easily, with the vine charcoal or willow charcoal, you can wipe out the lines if you need to change things, which is the advantage of this stuff being softer. The compressed charcoal is good because you can get a nice rich dark with the compressed charcoal, but it's much harder to move around the paper or erase. So this willow charcoal or vine charcoal is good for making changes. I'm going to do rough outlines just to place the objects on the paper where I want them and get the size right. The shape doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to be working on this for a while, and I would recommend after you get the rough outlines of your objects on, I would lay in all the dark tones in the background like we did with the negative shape exercises. Just take the side of a piece of charcoal and fill in the big areas in between or behind the objects, especially if you have that dark background set up. That way you'll see the objects set against that dark background. It'll be nice and clear, and it'll get the whole composition going. You'll get the whole drawing moving. You'll get the whole composition the way you want it, and you'll start to see the contrast of light and dark, and it'll start to come together, even if you're still messing around with the edges of the objects and getting a little more detail later. You can pretty quickly get the overall flow of the composition, and you can get the placement of your objects and the basic breakdown of the light and dark tones, where you're going to have the light and dark.